Welcome to this week's YouTube video. This week I'm going to discuss a Stories.com article. We cover a lot of stuff that is on that website. They have a lot of great articles, and today the one we're going to cover is the new housing minister discussing the new coming residents to Canada and the housing crisis and how things may play out. So this is going to be an article where I really would like your opinion down in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you think is going to happen in the economy here. Canada is a little bit shaky currently. Let's see what the new housing minister has to say about it in the article at stories.com. If you want to read the article in full, I'll have it in the pinned description down below. And if you want to have a little bit of a chat about it in the comment section. So Canada's newly minted housing minister, he addressed reporters Wednesday, and that was just last week, putting particular emphasis on the importance of immigration in Canada. And immigration, we're taking in almost 500,000 immigrants per year as it stands right now, which some would say is a big issue and some would say is a fantastic thing. So the minister says he would urge caution to anyone who believes that the answer to the housing crisis is to close the doors on the newcomers. All right, let's get into it a little bit more. Now, he was just newly announced as the minister here, but he was actually previously the immigration minister, which you might understand if you read the article in full. There's a little bit of a carryover on his opinions here. So obviously he's got a lot of ties to refugees and citizenship from other people coming in. So he goes on in the article to say that he understands that housing is a bottleneck in the economic growth. There's a real challenge for many people my age who are younger, call us late to early 30s, who are trying to get into the market, but it's also a challenge for new and incoming families to Canada. He also said, but if we continue to advance measures and help build more stock and housing that's available, it would be easier for people to get into the market and make sure we're offering protections for the low-income families, particularly in vulnerable renting situations. We're going to be able to make a meaningful difference, is what he's stating here. He also discusses that his intention is to take a people-focused approach to the housing policies, and that one may take into consideration infrastructure that is also in tandem with the housing production. He also says here that if we encourage cities and communities to build more housing where there is already infrastructure in place, it would be a position where they're able to be leveraged a little bit more to actually get more value for their dollar in that specific area. So if there's available land in a Mississauga, a Brampton, a Milton, that would be more advantageous for home builders than it would be to go out into a new area where you have to then develop all the surrounding amenities that are required. So your community centers, your libraries, your grocery stores, gas stations, all of those necessities. Now, it's a fairly short article. It is really just him stating more so that he does not think that closing the door on immigration, as the Conservatives have recently mentioned, would be their plan, is a good idea. Obviously, he's got one foot in the door with his previous job being immigrations. However, I want to really break down how both sides of this could come into play. So let's say we take the conservative approach, which would be to slow down the immigration incoming so that way people that are here can afford housing, have a better opportunity to purchase a property that they may be competing or having a challenging time securing with the competitive nature of the market. If that were to happen, it's going to in turn mean that the sellers are not going to have as many people vying for their house. And I think if immigration slows down, we'll actually see housing prices slow down as well. Because if immigration slows and the building supply continues to build up, the only people who are here to actually purchase those homes are the Canadian residents or immigrants that are already currently here. So if we actually catch up with that supply and the demand is lower, it does not mean anything good for the real estate market, in my opinion. Where on the flip side, if we continue to allow immigrants coming in at the rate at which they currently are, which is 500,000 per year, the issue is something that we've constantly seen in the last year or two. At a minimum, it's not enough housing to supply for the people that are coming in. And now we are actually in a rental crisis where you're seeing the average one-bedroom rent is now in Toronto over $2,000. So you're putting yourself in a weird situation here where you can't even afford to rent a place. You can't afford to buy a place because your starting price point is mid 500s for a very, very tiny condo in the GTA. Or if you want a detached property, you really are looking north of 850, 900,000 at the bare minimum, and that's anywhere in the extended GTA. So I would include your Cambridge, your Waterloo, your Orangeville even. So that's a very wide area and a net for people who, even at 900,000, may not be able to secure a detached property. I'd love to know what your opinion is in the comment section down below. It's definitely hard to decide if one of these two is the right option, or is it a combination of both? Should we take in half of the immigrants or a percentage of the immigrants that are already agreed to coming in and try to catch up with our building supply? If you've been downtown Toronto, or any downtown for that matter, it's pretty rough at the moment. There's a lot of homelessness. There's a lot of people who are just not able to find somewhere to live. And this is just housing. There is a crisis on affordability for gas, for food. There's a lot of other things that are requiring a lot of capital right now that we do not have the ability to pay for. So let me know in the comment section down below, what direction would you take this if you were the new housing minister? Does the new housing minister actually have much say at all? A lot of the time, the minister may actually have something that they want to implement, and they may not be able to get past the gatekeepers here. I'd love to know your opinions down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.